how far do you think you're going to have to go here?
Yeah, well, this was not unexpected. We've been in discussion with the SEC for a long, long time. Even going back to before we were a public company, we started sharing with them how we operate our business, how we list assets on the platform, how we think about our staking program. And through a large number of dialogues back and forth, they allowed us to become a public company. We had many discussions with them in the last year when their tone started to change, and they started to come to us with more questions about the business. So we were very forthcoming. We met with them probably 30 times over the last year, and we started to kind of ask them for feedback. And we said, we would like there to be a robust market in the U.S. to trade crypto securities. Of the 1,000+ assets we've reviewed today, we've rejected 90% of them. The ones we trade, we believe, are commodities. What feedback do you have for us? How can we come in and register? How can we work together? And unfortunately, we were met with silence. We really got no feedback in those 30 meetings. The first meeting where they were scheduled to come and give us feedback, they canceled it a few days before that, and then we got a Wells notice a few days after that. So it's really unfortunate. We work with regulators all over the world, other regulators here in the US. I think I'm a reasonable person to get along with. But unfortunately, the SEC under this chair has taken a regulation by enforcement approach instead of creating a clear rule book in the US that can allow this industry to be built in a safe and trusted way.
When was the last time you personally met with Gary Gensler, and what did you say?
Right. So when he first came in as the chair, I flew out to New York. I reached out to him. Our teams reached out. I tried to make an effort to connect with him in person because that's what I try to do whenever a new regulator kind of comes in. Unfortunately, we were not able to connect at that time. I'm not sure why we couldn't get on his calendar. And we followed up a few times in the year after that. We eventually got a meeting that was virtual. It may have been COVID related or something like that, but we were able to get a virtual meeting. But unfortunately, it was frankly like a pretty icy reception, I would say. We sort of came in hat in hand and said, "Hey, Chair Gensler, you've asked people to come in and register. Respectfully, we're here to register. What would you like us to do? What process would you like us to go through?" And his response was, talk to your lawyer. I'm not here to advise you.